Hi guys, it's Claire. I'm back again. Today's video is going to be about what student nurses should never do. So this is a kind of a funny video because I was thinking about never. Never means, it's a very strong word. It's not don't do, it's not avoid, it's just never. So I was coming up with things that student nurses should never do, and some of the ones I have in here, spoiler, I've actually done them myself. So I think this is me coming from a place of, I've done this, I don't think you should do it either. So it's like, I've made the mistake, and now this is me telling you about my mistakes. Well, I haven't done all of them, I've done some. So the first one is argue with your mentor. Now, I actually haven't ever done this one because I've been really lucky to actually get on really well with my mentors, so that's a plus. But I've heard some stories of people arguing with their mentors, and I just don't think it's worth it. If you have a problem with them, go to somebody in your university about them. I don't think I'd bring it up with them, and even if you do bring it up with them, say it in a nice way. There's no need to argue. Also, we have to remember at the end of the day, they are marking us, so we don't exactly want to get on their bad side. And I completely understand if there's like a real reason for you to be annoyed at them, but I just don't think we should resort to arguing. I think maybe bringing it up in a civil manner, there's no problem with that. I've definitely done that with previous mentors. I've been like, oh, you know, somebody did this or blah blah blah, but I've never argued with a mentor, so I think that's something to keep in mind. But I'm sure most of you won't argue anyway, but this is more just for people maybe going into nursing or in first year and just don't want to make like big mistakes. I just think arguing might get you in a bit of trouble that's unnecessary, and also at the end of the day they're probably marking your placement. Oh, by the way, a mentor is the person on placement that you're allocated. Normally they're a registered nurse, but normally a sister or a senior nurse, somebody who's been there for a while, so they can show you around. They're the ones you go and talk to if you have any problems, and they're the ones at the end of the placement who marks you. So that explains why you wouldn't want to argue with them. Okay, number 2 is never don't take an opportunity. So this is, I'm kind of getting my never in there, but it's so true. It's like, never don't take an opportunity. There's been times in especially my first placement, where somebody would ask me to do something, or do you want to go here, and I'd be like, no, 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 just because I was too scared. But now I jump at every opportunity. Somebody's like, do you want to go to theatre and see somebody be put under general anaesthetic? And I'm like, yes please, can I go? You know, you just have to be proactive about your learning, because if you don't say yes to things, and if you're not willing to go and do all of these things, then you're gonna not get to see those experiences. And then as a registered nurse, it's very hard to leave the ward and go and do really fun things because you have your own patients. So a student is a perfect time to do these things that you might not necessarily get to do when you're a registered nurse. So jump at every opportunity. There's no opportunity that won't suit you, or, well, like, there might be things that you don't like from the opportunities, but at least you know you don't like them. And then there might be things you love. You might find that's the place you want to work, or you might go to theatres and be like, this is where I belong, or things like that. It's just super important to take every opportunity, and I think I've only learned that recently, so this is a big one for me. One of my New Year's resolutions is to jump at opportunities more. Okay, number 3 is don't act like you know everything. So nobody likes a know-it-all. You can know things and not, it's really, okay, this is a strange one, because knowing things and saying, like, speaking up if you know them is really good. But what I mean by don't act like you know everything is, don't be the person who's like, yeah, I knew that, or like too above yourself to learn. Kind of bring yourself back down and be like, I'm the student here, I'm here to learn. I might know more than this newly qualified nurse, but you know, that's their problem. Like, if I'm more ahead than them, then that's their problem. So kind of focus on yourself and just don't act above somebody. So just be always willing to learn. It comes back to the second point, just be willing to learn, willing to take opportunities. Don't say like, oh, I knew that already, because at the end of the day, that's not going to get you in the best books with the people you're working with or your mentor or the people on the wards. Because as a student, you're already coming into this group and you're already kind of trying to find your feet. So if you're the one who's like, oh, I knew that, I know how to do that, and like rolling your eyes when they're trying to explain something, that's not the best vision to give off. So I would say never act like a know-it-all. If you know things, great, put your hands up and say, oh, I knew that. Or if they ask a question, be like, oh, is it hemoglobin, or whatever the answer is, and then they'll be like, oh yeah. But if you're like, hemoglobin, of course, that doesn't, it's just how you say things, really. So don't be afraid to say you know things, but it's just the way you say it is really important. Okay, so number 4 is never give out personal information to patients. So this is a big one that I thankfully I haven't had to learn it myself, but through seeing other people I've learned this harsh lesson, and I just really don't want any of you to make it, because it can end up with you maybe having to leave your course or things like that, and we certainly don't want any of you to do that. It's just being mindful that when you're a student nurse, you're part of the team and you need that professional relationship. So even if you get on really well with someone and they ask for your phone number or something, just say, in my position I'm in at the moment, I can't give you that. Or go and tell your mentor and just say, what do I do about this? I'm not sure how to act, or tell them I can't give it to them, or things like that. And make sure just about your address as well. You can say the area you live in, but try not to give specifics, because at the end of the day, they're patients and they live their own lives and you don't know their background or their backstory. So I'd say that's a really big one that I've seen people learn the harsh reality of. And last but not least is number 5. So this is never take the opportunity of nursing for granted. So just never take the opportunity that you are in for granted. I know it can be really hard sometimes when placement is really long, you've lots of assignments, you don't get paid. I understand, I know the struggle, I'm in it, I know it. But just try and look at the bright side and be like, this is an amazing opportunity that so many people want to be in. Think about all the people that want to be nurses that can't afford to go to uni or haven't managed to get into a university or things like that. It's just so important to realise that and never take nursing for granted, because yes, it might be difficult at times and I completely understand, but it is a privilege at the end of the day to be in university, getting a degree, being able to have not a job but a profession that will take us anywhere, will take us all over the world if we want. So that's a huge asset to us as student nurses. So I think that's a huge point. Just never take being in the nursing course for granted. So I hope you enjoyed my 5 things that student nurses should never do. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys, and if you liked the video, give it a like in the description and comment any questions you have, or my Instagram DM link will be down below. Bye guys, thanks for watching.